Hey there, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm doing a video all about the worst buys of 2020. A couple weeks ago on New Year's Eve, I put out my best of the year, so the top 20 best of fragrances, and I put a bunch of other beauty favorites in there as well. And I mentioned in that one that I could do kind of sometime in January, I could do a video that I'm doing today about some bad blind buys. And I'm sure there are more that I could have pulled out, but these are the ones that really stood out to me, and they're all fragrances that I only got during 2020. So we're gonna go through them and I'm gonna describe why they don't work for me, because there are a number of these fragrances where I feel like, if not all of them, I feel like could work for someone. They're just not to my taste, and I've been wearing them like drastically less than I thought I would when I was gonna pick them up. So we're gonna go through, I think there's like 16, I believe. So if you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe, and let's get into it. So the first one is a celebrity fragrance, and this is again one that I feel like will definitely work for a lot of people, does work for a lot of people, but this one just didn't work for me, and it's Ariana Grande's fragrance. I always forget what it's called. I'll put the name here. It's Ari or something like that. But anyways, I knew this was not going to work for me. I absolutely knew. I had like very much a feeling that it wouldn't, and I tried it in store ages ago, but it was one of those moments where you're already ordering online, and I found this for like, I don't know, it was like $11 or something. It was really, really inexpensive. So I thought might as well. I've been enjoying some of her newer fragrances, but I went into knowing it wasn't going to be anything special. The only thing that makes it, and I wasn't expecting anything particularly special, but the only thing that makes it a fail in my book is it smells exactly like, to a T. It smells like Majesty by Nicki Minaj, which is a fragrance I already own. And it's a scent that is in no way offensive, but it just smells like a 10-year-old's first perfume, very fruity punch kind of thing. And it's all right. It's just not my cup of tea, and I'm already struggling to finish that large bottle. So now I have like 200 ml of that same scent. It was really, really inexpensive. I don't regret it because of the financial burden of what this fragrance would have been, but honestly, sometimes you really do have to trust your gut, and that was a scenario where totally my bad, and I could have spent those $11 on another fragrance for sure. Then we move on to a niche fragrance that did not work for me. Juliette Has A Gun. The hype around Not a Perfume ever since it launched, and then it kind of like continued as always being one of people's favorites of like the molecule perfume or the not a real perfume, not smelling like perfume kind of thing. And I really love Glossier You, and I love that whole concept. And I sprayed it here a little bit before filming, and wouldn't you know it, I felt like today I could smell it a little bit out of the bottle. But this truly ended up being like a Emperor's New Groove, not Emperor's New Groove, Emperor's New Clothes kind of fragrance for me. And I've mentioned that before as like the kind of descriptor. On a lot of days out of the year, this just feels like I'm spraying straight up water and alcohol with like the most minimal hint of citrus. Like it's as if someone just like whispered citrus into the bottle and then sprayed it on me. I don't get that same woody pencil shaving thing that I would from other kind of fragrances like this. It just does not really come out smelling like anything on me. It doesn't really work for me at all. It does work for, who did I try it on? I tried it on 2 people, and it really worked on them. And it was like kind of sweet even on one of them. So I think I'm just gonna have to like decant a lot of it for them and just keep a little bit for myself in the bottle, but it just didn't end up working for me. So I would really say sample this before you get into it, or honestly, my recommendation is just to try Glossier You, because that one always works. Then this is a fragrance I have no clue why I picked up. And every time I try to think back on like why, the only thing I can think of is I thought maybe it'd be a nice inexpensive dupe that I could talk to you guys with, but, or like recommend to you guys, but I still have no idea. So this is Derby Clubhouse Eau de Toilette Blanche by Armat. And it's supposed to be like Silver Mountain Water by Creed, or one of those kind of fragrances, like a dupe of it. And I'm not sure if I just don't really remember what the Creed one smelled like, because I don't have the highest opinion of all Creed fragrances. They're very like hit or miss, like love or hate. But there is a metallic, like a sour metallic note in this that makes it truly unwearable for me. And that's the hardest ones. The ones where I feel like I don't really love on me, but they're not offensive, like with this Ariana Grande one, they're actually not that bad. I can always spray them in the air or on, you know, clothing or just like bedspreads or whatever, blankets. But this is one of those unwearable ones, and I haven't met anyone in my circle who has liked this. It's been like kind of a turn off for everyone. So I wouldn't recommend it. Armat hasn't let me down so far, except for this fragrance. So I feel like maybe I'm just not into the scent it's trying to replicate, and I haven't smelled it in like years, so I have no clue. But yeah, there is just the sourness in this, and it's like a metallic sourness, is completely unbearable to me. All right, so now we're gonna get to 3 Violette fails. And if you guys have been watching my channel, if you know me at all, then you will know I adore Violette. I love Violette leaf fragrances. I love Parma Violet, candied violet, powdery violet. I just love that note. So I tend to pretty much like a lot of their fragrances that feature violet as well. However, it can go wrong, and it's not just like a blanket statement love that's gonna happen with really any note. And there were 3 points in the year that 3 Violette fragrances really, really disappointed me. And the first one, which was the most heartbreaking of the 3, like I still give this one a chance every couple of months or weeks. Has not worked so far, but this is Violette by Molinard, and it's an eau de parfum. This, no one told me, you guys, that this was a honeyed violet, and that's where I was led astray. There is a real part of this fragrance that I love, and I can smell it more so in the bottle, and kind of, yeah, it smells more so in the bottle. Once you spray it, that element goes away. There was such an opportunity for this to be a pure, beautiful violet, and it's in there somewhere. But that honey, that dark, rich honey that just overpowers and sweetens this violet fragrance in the worst way, in my opinion. I have no idea why Molinard did this, especially because they're kind of known for making these fragrances that are one note, like inspirations, like vanilla, or maybe sometimes they have like even dual, like vanilla patchouli or whatever. But Violette, like they could have really made the most pure violet scent, and you know, incorporated other notes that complemented violet but did not overpower it. And that's what happens here. There was just such an overpowering of honey. If you love honeyed florals, if you love stuff like Scandal or any other floral, I'm trying to think, the Maison Lancôme Oud d'Ambroisie isn't really like a honeyed floral, it's more of a honey oud. But if you aren't turned off by very strong honey and rich honey, then I would give it a shot, because fragrance wise, it is a beautiful fragrance if you like that. For me though, I just feel like they went in the completely wrong direction. And as like a pure violet lover, I feel like it really could have been something different. The bottle is stunning. I love these violet bottles. Even the other fragrances that aren't violet come in these violet bottles, and I think it's really beautiful. But yeah, Molinard really let me down. Then this one was also equally heartbreaking in a different way, if only because I spent years hearing about this fragrance and thinking, you know, one day when I find it online and I'm putting in an order, I'm gonna get it. And that was Halloween. But it's just like Halloween, the original Halloween, J. Del Pozo. I think now the brand is just called Halloween. Whatever. This was so disappointing, you guys. And so many people love it. So I don't think it's like a blanket statement, this sucks. But it just does not give me violet. There is an aquatic nature to this, which sometimes gets murky. And that's what puts me off the most, is that murkiness. I don't have like a problem with all aquatic fragrances. There are some I absolutely love, but something happens with Lotus. It happened with Ralph Lauren Blue. That one gets murky as well. And it happens with this as well. And honestly, there is not enough violet in this to keep me going. It just kind of feels like a aquatic floral in general. But yeah, I definitely think there are people who would like this. It's an eau de toilette, but I think it definitely performs as much as you'd need it to. It's not like beast mode or anything. There really aren't other problems with it. It's inexpensive. It's just not what I was expecting. And on my skin, it just gets too murky for my liking. And then the last one, I was skeptical about this one, but it was still sad to see. Diamonds Violet by Armani. This is just very, and I have to remind myself, because I haven't worn it in a while. It is too peppery, and I don't want to say it's like full on chypre, but it's leaning towards that area, and I'm not a fan. Again, practically no violet in this, and while I like the bottle and I like the theory and the concept of what it could have been and should have been, it's not a fan. I'm not a fan of it. But I have heard that people who don't usually like violet-y fragrances like this, which kind of makes sense. They should have just called it something different, honestly, because it did not work for me. Then a fragrance that was kind of inexpensive, so again, I didn't mind, but oh my God, do I find it difficult to wear, is White Luminous Gold by Michael Kors. I was drawn to the bottle. I'd heard a lot of good things about this collection of, like the gold collection for Michael Kors, and this, I'll just spray one because from what I remember, it was very, very strong. And it smells, I remember now, it's again, very, very unwearable for me. It smells like old, cheap cologne that was like popular in the 80s maybe, leading into the 90s, but the 90s then got like that clean Calvin Klein type feel, which I'm actually down for. This is like 80s peppery, bitter green cologne on men that like, it came in like those huge tubs or like jars and would last for like a week. And then I don't know, it just, I really, really can't see anyone liking this. This is one of the ones where I feel like, I don't want to make a blanket statement, but I really wouldn't recommend this at all to pretty much anyone in my life or to you guys. To each their own. If you like this, then definitely let me know in the comments below. What is it you like about it? And maybe you can help out someone, but this is one of the ones where I'm like, I don't see it at all. Great lasting power. As is the way with fragrances you don't love, oh my God, does it last an incredibly long time. But other than that, really no redeeming qualities for me. Then we get to, and I always forget what this one's called. It's like Hugo Boss Nuit pour Femme, I think. I wasn't expecting the world of this, but this was just one of those 1999 ones. And the first time I wore it, I thought I was anosmic to it, which I was surprised by because I'm anosmic to nothing. And then I realized you really do have to wear it on a hand that has like nothing sprayed already, like nothing really in the air. It's very, very light. And I could smell it. It's an extremely, and when I say extremely, I mean an unbelievably soft fragrance. It's a white floral, it's nice, it's very airy, but it's instantly a skin scent, and that's a no-go for me. That was the same thing with Sarah Jessica Parker's New York City Crush. I ended up going through that because I would spray like maybe 40 sprays to equal like one spray of another fragrance. That's how light it was. This is very much the same thing, and I'll very much go through it the same way. Scent wise though, when you can actually smell it, it is nice. It's very feminine and airy floral. I feel like it's kind of a nice mom type fragrance as well. It's just like an instant skin scent though. There is virtually no projection or sillage, and even like it's on me, if my hands are just down, I can't smell anything. Like if it's on my chest, I wouldn't be able to smell it. I'd need to like stick my nose to my arm to smell this fragrance. So yeah, it was a fail for me personally. And then the next one, I'm gonna spend very little time on this because I've said it so many times, but Creed's Jardin d'Amalfi in the Les Royales Exclusive line. I think mine kind of started out, this was a vintage batch, and I think mine started out already kind of going off, and with every day that goes by, it just gets more and more sour. And so I think part of it is that mine's actually, when I got it, it was kind of off and I didn't realize, and then it just got worse and worse and worse. But it just kind of smells like Lysol to me. It's way, way, way too strong on the citrus. And Creed's, again, like I mentioned, I either love them or absolutely hate them. I really haven't found Creed's to be in the middle of the road for me, and that is just an absolute hate for my part. All right, so I cannot believe that there is a Dior as part of this worst of, but this is one where I feel like it is a stunning fragrance, and I try all the time to get into it because Dior has never let me wrong. But Poison by Dior, it's just very, very difficult to wear. I don't hate this fragrance. There is actually something about it I really do like, but on the greater scale, it is hard to wear. I don't know if it's like the Mirabelle Plum. It's very dark. In like when you're imagining the color of it, this is exactly the kind of color it smells like a very opaque, dark burgundy, jammy, heady floral. And I'm not in any way shy about a floral. I adore them, but oh my God, this is like, sometimes it even ventures into smelling like toilet bowl cleaner, which I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm just trying to make you envision what I mean, of a very, very strong, thick, as if you're just like, someone is pouring the most thick, florally Mirabelle Plum jam on top of your head and you're just engulfed in it. And it's a bit dated, which again isn't an automatic turn off for me, but there is just very few occasions in the year or days or moments where I'm drawn to this fragrance, and a lot of the times when I'm spraying it, it's really just for reference. So I feel like I could have skipped out on that, even though I found it for a deal. Skipped out and just got pure Poison that I knew I liked, rather than just getting caught up in the deal of it all. Then another fragrance that I'd heard just way, way, way too much about, Gucci Rush, and I thought, you know what, before it disappears forever, I've always been drawn to the bottles, and I liked the bottle of this more than Gucci Rush 2. Now in retrospect, maybe Gucci Rush 2 is more my vibe, but I sure as hell know I'm not going to try it because this took me in for a journey, let's just say. And one spray is enough because my whole bedroom will now smell like this. Again, I will say lasting power on this, unbelievable lasting power, incredible. If you like this fragrance, you will smell like it all day into the night and on your clothing the next morning. But there is the most screechy pineapple note in this that smells synthetic, but not in a good way, because usually I'm down for a synthetic fruity fragrance. It almost feels like a tiny out of tune violin is playing the song of pineapples in your face constantly. That is a very weird description, but that is how screechy it is. And this is a fragrance that got worse and worse for me every time I wore it. The first time I was like, oh my God, it's interesting, it's weird, but I I want to try it out. I want to see what it's going to be like. And every time consecutively since I've worn it, it's gotten worse. So this has been put on timeout. I'm going to come to it in maybe 6 months and see if my taste has changed, my nose has changed, because sometimes you just got to do that with fragrance. And I really hope it does, because I do know there are some of you who love it, but I do know there's a lot of you who are absolutely turned off by it as well. And it's a weird one. It's not for the faint of heart, I will say that. And then finally, the last 4 are actually in a range. So I'm going to talk about them all at once, but they are the Yardley fragrances that were in that range of 5. I have 4 of the 5. And again, I fell into the trap of their fragrances were on, you know, full price for so many months. Obviously, then they didn't sell that much and they went on sale, and I got one of them was sold out, but I got the 4 others. And I really, other than when I hauled it and maybe a couple times around there to try it out for the second impressions, I have not worn them. They are like in the depth of my collection. They were actually gathering dust, so I had to kind of dust them when I took them out. So I should have just skipped on them, and I kind of knew, but you get caught up in the sale of it all, or at least I do. So this one's Floral Jade. I think this was my least favorite. Oh, this was my second. Yeah, this was either like 3rd or 4th place. It's very green. They're all eau de toilettes that actually are more so like a body splash level of performance. This one's very green, kind of mossy. The other least favorite of mine is Lilac Amethyst, which is the one I thought I was going to like the most. And that's because, is it fig? Yeah, there's the fig in this. Again, not a fan. If you do like fig though, this is a very light, nice fig. And I've tried to wear it. This is the one I've tried to wear the most because I really thought I would like it. But it doesn't really smell like lilacs at all. It smells quite a bit like fig. Then Poppy Diamond, which is my favorite one, smells like Chloe. It smells exactly like the original Chloe in many of the Chloe fragrances. So I actually don't mind this one. It's just that I have a lot of Chloe fragrances and this is like a body splash version of that. So I really don't reach for it. I just end up wearing the Chloe's. And then the last one is Daisy Sapphire. I also like this one. It's not bad. Yeah, this one I think I liked the most because the Chloe one was too close to Chloe. It's a very sunny, bright one. I might wear it a little bit more in the spring, summer, but they just don't last. I mean, they're very much like body splash level, and I'm never excited enough by them to pick them up. So anyways, those were all my worst buys of the year. Again, I probably could have snuck some more in there, but I didn't want this video to go on and be negative for too long. I hope you guys enjoyed, and even if you like these fragrances, you enjoy the video, and if you just have a completely different taste to me, for example, if you love a light body splash level fig, then maybe this is exactly what you're looking for and you can get it for a deal. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.